What the fuck going on, family? Finally here with y'all with the four agreements, y'all. Don't judge my book. You see, I got pages falling out. I tell everybody this motherfucker like my Bible, so I got like 3-4 copies. I'm just always giving them away. And this was the first one I just seen, so. Then what I want to say though, before we get into it, y'all don't judge me. This my first time doing this type of shit. You know what I mean? We're gonna get better and better as we go. But for everybody that do got y'all physical copy, even if you don't got your physical copy, the links that I sent y'all, y'all could pull it up on y'all phones, y'all computers, y'all iPads, whatever. I really, I know we starting off with the first agreement, which happened to be chapter 2, be impeccable with your word. But you see, we still got the introduction and we still got the first chapter, which is the domestication of the dream planet. I really, even if you go back to read it, I think everybody should read the introduction in that first chapter just because, like, and we might go back and go through it, but I think it help you understand the direction of this book because this ain't no religious shit. It ain't no extra just spiritual shit. It's just explaining what our existence means, like giving you perspective on what we are as humans in this realm, man. You know what I'm saying? That kind of sounds spiritual, so I ain't gonna say it's just not spiritual at all, but like I said, I know a lot of people caught up in beliefs and religion and certain things like that. And if anybody know me, y'all know I believe in a little bit of everything. I think it's truth to everything. I think it's lies and everything. I think the best thing we could do is know what we believe in and stick to that. And I like that we got this first chapter because that's what this is gonna talk about a little bit. So boom. Like I said, my book all over the place. And then this chapter, 22 pages, so what I'm going to do, just to make it easier for everybody, is I'm going to skim through it. See, I just pulled that motherfucker out. But look, I'm going to skim through it, right? I'm going to hit all the key points that I feel like resonate the most with me and the things that I think I apply to my life the most on the day-to-day. And then what y'all can do is y'all could DM me personally. I know a few people said they couldn't figure it out, but y'all know y'all can reply to every post I put on here. It's a little reply button somewhere on there. I ain't that tech savvy, but for the ones that do know, y'all could kind of help those that don't. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, a lot of y'all got my number 419-572-6216. Y'all can always text me and just give me more perspective. It was something that I didn't touch on that y'all want to get more perspective from me on. Let me know. If it's something that y'all want to give me perspective on that y'all realize, then y'all notice that y'all think would be beneficial for me or for others, let me know. Boom. Be impeccable with your word. Like I say, I'm going to skim through it. I'm going to start with the first few pages, then I'm going to boom, wow. Thank you, man. The first agreement is the most important one and also the most difficult one to honor. It is so important that just with this first agreement, you will be able to transcend to a level of existence I call heaven on earth. Boom. So be impeccable with your word. I know a lot of people read that and the first thing that we think is like, don't tell no lies. You know what I'm saying? Speak no evil type shit. The power of the tongue. And this chapter for sure get into all that, but that's just like I think the top layer of this shit get way deeper than that. Let me put you down. The word is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. Some years ago, one man in Germany, by the use of one word, manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent people. He led them into a world war with just the power of his word. He convinced others to commit the most atrocious acts of violence. He activated people's fear with the word, and like a big explosion, there was killing and war all around the world. They talking about Hitler. So boom. This is what I'm talking about. They get into the conversation of the power of the tongue, but I think we all then experienced enough life and seen all the different videos and read books on like how powerful our word is when it comes to speaking life into existence, when it comes to manifestation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I got to explain that too much to people. But what they explaining is that this one human mind was able to tap into the minds, and I'm glad we chose this chapter first because we're going over mind first before my body and soul. But this one mind was able to convince all these other minds that blue eyes and brown hair was the way, and you know what I'm saying, and convinced all these people that a certain look wasn't right, right? So when it come to that, it's basically explaining that our belief system in our minds is so powerful that we able to recreate our existence and recreate what we got going on. Almost like they talk about us being made in the image of God and him being the creator and us being able to create because he's a creator and we made in his image. From us creating life with children to us being able to grow gardens and you know what I'm saying, all that type of shit. And we look at all those things, but we don't understand that they really saying we are able to create the exact life we want to create based on what our brains and our minds do. And I think this chapter is so important because it talk about being impeccable with your word, but what about those that go without speaking? What about those that's nonverbal, right? I'm big and I done went down the line. I ain't gonna say I'm big on it, but I went down a lot of rabbit holes of autism and the nonverbal humans that walk this realm. And just even when you talk about babies and older people, right? Um, at the end of the day, those people even able to create certain things that's happening with their minds and they able to tap into certain things that we can't tap into. And in other countries, you know, they look at people with that schizophrenic like they got powers, like they able to make certain things happen on some magical shit. But we ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole. I just wanted to point that out before I get all the way into what this chapter talking about, because I want y'all to understand that this ain't just saying speak positivity, um, be a person of gratitude that wake up every day and say, I'm beautiful, I'm smart. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what you supposed to do. But like I said, that's the surface of this shit. I'm gonna get more into it. During our domestication, our parents and siblings gave their opinions about us without us even thinking. We believed those opinions and we lived in fear over those opinions, like not being good at swimming or sports, all right? Someone gives an opinion and says, look, this girl is ugly. The girl listens, believes she ugly, grew up with the idea that she ugly. It don't matter how beautiful she is, as long as she has that agreement. She'll believe she ugly. That is the spell that she is under. Y'all hear that? A lot of us under spells and don't even know it because of a situation that happened. That's why therapy is so important. And everybody don't need therapy, but what you get in therapy is a reflection of all the things you might have forgot, because we live so many days during this existence that something that happened 5 minutes when you were 6, 7 years old that escaped your memory, because a lot of times trauma get washed away and get put in the back of our memory. Therapy is to help you understand those things so that you can understand the spells that you might be under that you ain't even realize. By hooking our attention, the word can enter our mind and change a whole belief for better or for worse. Another example, you may believe you are stupid, and you may have believed this for as long as you can remember. Disagreement can be very tricky, causing you to do a lot of things just to ensure that you are stupid. You may do something and think to yourself, I wish I was smart, but I must be stupid or I wouldn't have done that. The mind goes in a hundred different directions, and we could spend days getting hooked by just that one belief in our own stupidity. Then one day someone hooks your attention and uses the word, lets you know that you are not stupid. You believe that person and you make a new agreement. As a result, you no longer feel or act stupid. A whole spell is broken just by the power of the word. Controversially, if you believe you are stupid and someone hooks your attention and says, yes, you really are the most stupid person I have ever met, the agreement will be reinforced and become even stronger. That's why they talk about um, all of the different ways our mind get hooked based on the attention that we give, from our peers and friends to the music and the entertainment we indulge in, because all of it create your belief system. All of it is a part of like the way you think and why you think. And all of the words from the music to the movies and the conversations you have. And see, I'm gonna tell you, I remember like when I started reading into all of this shit, I was so confused. Like, well, what about the niggas that sit around listening to trap music all day and be on the block all day, but still can go off and do some positive shit and still go and do, you know what I'm saying, X, Y, and Z. What I grew to understand was they ain't believing none of that shit. That's the key. And that's what that paragraph was just talking about. It's the belief. It's when the motherfuckers say certain things and you're not able to detach yourself from it. See, it's one thing to say you closed-minded and a motherfucker can't tell you nothing. Then it's another thing to be able to say, motherfucker can't just speak things onto you, because you got to be able to be right in between the two. You can't just be closed-minded and nobody able to even give you no information, and then you stunting your growth and you not evolving. But at the same time, you can't be one of the motherfuckers that as soon as somebody walk to your door and knock on that motherfucker and come to you with a book and tell you they got a new belief system for you, like, damn, I ain't never think about it that way. And your whole reality change, because that's how I work. And the part that I'm about to get into, probably my favorite part that's going to elaborate on that a little more, talking about sin, right? So, boom. Let's see what the word impeccability means. This that shit right here. Impeccability means without sin. Impeccable comes from the Latin word peccatus, which means sin. The M in impeccable means without. So impeccable means without sin. Boom. Religion talk about sin and sinners, but let's understand what that really means. What it means to really sin. A sin is anything you do that goes against yourself. My bad, y'all. Let me take a sip of water real quick. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. I want y'all to hear me. Fuck what you do on Sundays and Wednesdays and Saturdays when it come to you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say fuck it. I take that back. Not fuck it. But let's detach ourselves from that for a good 60 seconds and hear me out real quick. Because I know y'all been told it's a certain type of list to sin and a certain way to sin, but the only true sin is anything you do that goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe that goes against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything. Being without sin is the exact opposite. Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions. You hear that? When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you don't judge or blame yourself. It's a difference. Remember that. From this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to something fucking common sense. Understanding this part right here, this is page 31. Everybody go to page 31 real quick. Open that motherfucker or scroll through your phone. When you get off of this, if you can't goddamn pull it up right now, go to page 31 and read this from top to bottom. When you understand this point of view, the whole concept of sin changes from something moral or religious to something common sense. Sin begins with rejection of yourself. Self-rejection is the biggest sin that you commit. In religious terms, self-rejection is mortal sin, which leads to death. Impeccability, on the other hand, leads to life. Being impeccable with your word is not using the word against yourself. If I see you in the street and I call you stupid, but it appears that I'm using the word against you, but really I'm using the word against myself, because you are going to hate me for this, and your hating me is not good for me because of energy and how energy works. I know y'all should understand that. Therefore, if I get angry and with my words send all of that emotional poison to you, I'm using that shit against myself. So that's what they basically saying, right? I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to get into it with my own perspective. I'm going to give y'all an example. 2020, right? 2020, 2021. Long live George Floyd. I was in Atlanta. I was living on Centennial downtown, right there by the State Farm Arena, right? And if anybody familiar with what was going on in Atlanta around that time, just like a lot of other major cities, it was a lot of rioting, motherfuckers breaking the stores, stealing shit. You know what I'm saying? So, because my building was right there in the heart of the city, of course, all that shit was going on. I had a few of the bros calling me like, we right outside your building. What you doing? Come on. Ooh, you feel me? I'm looking from my balcony at all my people, you know what I'm saying, destroying shit and, ooh, working they want, right? And my conversation with everybody was, are you doing this because you love your people? Or are you doing this because you hate another group of motherfuckers? And the reason that was so important for me was because of what this chapter talking about right here. Being impeccable. Anything you do, I don't give a fuck. Like I told y'all the other day, the universe don't understand you being hurt or you being betrayed and all that punk ass shit. What it understands is this nigga is angry. This woman is being hateful and bitter, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they are putting hate onto something or somebody. So guess what you get back, motherfucker? A lot of that. Now, in that same breath, if I was to go and commit an act of violence, but I'm doing it because I say I love my people and y'all ain't gonna play with them. See, that's the difference between that shit we was doing in 2021 and what the Black Panther parties was doing. See what I'm saying? It was about the love for their people. I seen Malcolm X say, if a sheep come and tell you that it's not gonna let the wolf eat it no more and it's gonna defend itself just so it don't get eaten by the wolf, or you gonna say it's moving out of hate? You know what I'm saying? See, that's the difference. Everything is about you being impeccable, doing something that don't go against you. You see what I'm saying? See, the way our minds work and the way the universe work, and we energetic. We all built off energy, and all this shit is electricity. So everything this shit like a boomerang. Everything we give a motherfucker gotta come back. And even if it don't come back directly in the same way, it gotta come back. It gotta come in your world somewhere. That's why a lot of times our family and the people around us get affected by the shit that we do, because it's not just, it's the world. That's what this shit telling you. You create this world that you living in. Everybody got their own fucking movie for real, and you creating it with everything that you putting out here. You know what I'm saying? So I hope the shit I'm saying ain't going over heads, and I hope I ain't too on the surface with it, because I'm trying not to go too deep into the rabbit hole with this conversation, but at the same time I'm trying to say enough so that, you know what I'm saying, y'all pick up what I'm putting down. But that's the bottom line, bro. Like I tell people all the time that I have any type of issue with, right? I ain't gonna give no specific situations, but at the end of the day, bro, if I do something to you and you upset with me and you don't forgive me, and you walk around this motherfucker being hateful towards me and talking about me, whatever, bitch, you getting that karma, not me. Motherfucker love to say, oh, you gonna get yours. God gonna make sure you get yours. Bitch, I'm not even mad or upset about what happened. I cheated on you because I was horny, not because I was trying to be hateful. It's a difference. And that's what a lot of motherfuckers got to understand, bro. Your sin ain't another person's sin. It's only a certain list of things. Now, when we get to talking about hurting children and hurting old people and committing murder with no real logic behind it, all of these things, again, are sinful for any human being, because it goes against you. It goes against you as a human being. It's almost like you hurting yourself by doing them type of acts, right? So the same way, if a motherfucker do something to you, that's why God and any religion always preached forgiveness, because the moment we don't learn how to do that type of shit, we walking around this bitch thinking we talking about somebody or being hateful towards somebody or dragging somebody's name, and guess what we doing? If I love myself, I will express that love in my interactions with you. If I love myself, I will express that love in my interactions with you. And then I am being impeccable with the word, because that action will produce a like reaction. That's why they say God is love. You know what I'm saying? Love is God, because at the end of the day, if you do that shit on a regular, mentally and physically, emotionally, whatever, oh my mama, you can't lose. I don't give a fuck with nobody. See, the problem is a lot of people be talking and walking like it, but don't be thinking it for real. Don't be feeling it for real. Motherfuckers be going to church every Sunday, and you got the old ladies that's walking around like, oh, my sweet baby, and then they get home and they watching a whole bunch of drama, and they on the shade room on their phone, and they calling their family members, and they gossiping, and it's like, bro, that is your real world. All that shit you do on Sundays and all that shit you get and posting inspirational quotes and man, beat it. The universe knows, Jack. I tell people all the time, all you gotta do is look at a motherfucker life. And don't get me wrong, I know certain people got journeys that God already designed, But for a motherfucker that you see that keep having these same issues and keep hitting their head in the same spots, hey, man, let me tell you something. This shit right here is gonna give a whole different type of perspective to what a lot of y'all might have thought was going on with this world and what was going on with the lives, not just yours, but the ones around you, bro. Like, you can't cheat the game. You know what I'm saying? You get what you put into this shit. So boom. If I love you, you will love me. If I insult you, you will insult me. If I have gratitude for you, you will have gratitude for me. If I'm selfish for you, you will be selfish for me. If I use a word to put a spell on you, you are going to put a spell on me. So I'm going to get my perspective on that part right there. It's not necessarily saying if you smack a nigga, he going to smack you back. Because you got certain situations to where that person might not be your karma. But it's coming. And I'm not trying to say that on no like, oh, hey, y'all need to go repent for y'all sins. No. What you have to do is go back. What you have to do is take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. See, motherfuckers gonna want you to judge or blame yourself. Motherfuckers gonna want you to say, I'm sorry. I wish I wouldn't have ever. And don't get me wrong. Apologies are good. It's good to be able to give somebody that that assurance and let them know that you do feel empathy for what they feeling, and you know what I'm saying, whatever that is, whatever the situation is, you don't always gotta walk around like, fuck you, I forgave myself. You know, that's some asshole shit. But you have to really forgive yourself. You have to really, because the thing is, it ain't about whether or not. See, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but that's why our president get away with so much shit. It's about what that nigga believe in. Fuck what y'all think. That nigga don't feel bad, bro. And I'm not saying he don't got nothing coming for him, but for the shit that we be upset with that nigga about, you know, that's why I always tell people, bro, God is having a different conversation with everybody. The universe is creating a different movie for every individual. So at the end of the day, who am I to tell you what the fuck you supposed to believe in, what the fuck you supposed to think, and what you supposed to say your right or wrong is? See what I'm saying? And I'm one of them people, I do believe that we live in a world where everything can't be cool. You know what I'm saying? That's why this shit really getting fucked up, because everybody try to make everything acceptable and everything ain't fucking acceptable. We really know we got an idea of what God wants us doing when it comes to the common sense stuff. That's why I said saying it's fucking common sense. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, bro, ain't no real right or wrong to this shit. And I know y'all might see my Orishas up here, right? So I'm gonna talk to my EFI people on here because I know I got a few of y'all, right? I always tell people when it comes to EFI, the biggest thing that I loved about it getting into it was that the right or wrong was based on the individual. You got motherfuckers that's in EFI that go in there and hit the mat about certain shit they doing in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And to a Christian or a Muslim or, you know what I'm saying, a religious person, they might look at that motherfucker like, oh, you committing real acts of X, Y, and Z, and ooh. But for this person that's trying to feed his kids and trying to make sure his mom get her medical bills paid, nigga, that ain't no sin for him. Now, if he doing it just to pop bottles and get hoes, he going against himself. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's common sense, bro. See, a lot of motherfuckers don't understand. I do a lot of shit that people don't like, but I do it for the right reasons. I'm not doing it to make y'all mad. I'm not doing it because I want to be able to stun on niggas or be able to be like, see, I ain't one of them niggas that be like, I'm a shit on all the people that ain't believing. I don't believe in that type of shit, because what I understand is if I put my energy and my mind there, what I'm getting back ain't really what I want. I really do this shit because I want my family to be proud of me. I want my kids to be able to reap the benefits of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if a motherfucker just so happen to get fucked over in that process, not saying that that's what be going on, but that's not a fucking sin. They might look at it like, oh, he shouldn't, and vice versa. When I'm a victim to certain shit, I ain't looking at it like, oh, man, I would have never did that. Duh, nigga. I'm not them. My movie ain't they movie. See what I'm saying? So again, this chapter talk about being impeccable with your word, and I'm gonna try to shorten this So y'all ain't got to watch a long ass video, right? But being impeccable with your word ain't just the power of the tongue and manifest the shit with positive daily words of affirmations and all that TikTok ass Instagram shit. It's about understanding that you are the fucking writer, producer, editor, and everything, and actor of your own fucking movie. Nobody is in control of that except for you. Your mama and your daddy and or grandmama, whatever, back in the day when you was growing up, they were in control of that shit to some extent. But once we reach a certain age, bro, nobody is in control of this shit except for us. And in reality, we creating everything we like or don't like. That's what being impeccable with your word is. And it's the beginning of something that, just like the first domino, when we get into these other chapters, you're gonna understand how all of this shit connect. And I'm glad again that we started with this, and we started with mind when it comes to mind, body, and soul, because these other chapters is gonna help us kind of transition into those other topics, and we're gonna be able to kind of come back to this stuff, excuse me, to make it a full circle conversation. I just want to make sure I ain't missing nothing before I get up out of here. And if you done made it this far, I appreciate you for even listening to my ass. Because I really believe, I don't know what the fuck I be talking about sometime. And I think we all gonna goddamn leave this bitch and get to heaven and apologize for acting like we did. And be looking at each other like, bitch, I thought you feel me? But this shit sound good as hell. No bullshit. It makes sense, bro. Like, that be my whole thing. I might be wrong about all that shit, but it make more sense than a lot of other shit I done heard. And I think the smartest thing you could do is know that you don't know shit. Alright, let me see. I think this is giving stories about like ways that spells work, and like it talk about a mama telling her daughter she had an ugly ass voice because she was tired, had a long day, and ain't want to hear her daughter run around the house singing and shit like that. And then the little girl believed that she had an ugly voice. We talk about human gossip and how motherfucker telling somebody that they this and they that, and they start to believe it. And that's the thing, man. Like, the word ain't what hold the power. The belief of the word is what hold the power. Did y'all hear what I just said? The word. I don't want to take nothing from nobody, bro, but I don't give a fuck. If I wanted to pray to this goddamn Sharpie every single day, if I wanted to say this Sharpie was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, and I got 10 million other motherfuckers to agree with me on that, guess what? This shit gonna be able to do something. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, bro, like, we able to really create shit in our existence. That's the gift God gave us, bro. We made in his image, and the same way he created all of this shit that we impressed with, we able to do that. But it's the belief. It's the mind. That's why the elites, higher ups, all this shit that motherfuckers be talking about, that's why they so consumed with people in their minds and what they care about. That's why data's so important. That's why Elon Musk want to know where you driving on the regular with your GPS information, and want to know what you talking about when it come to X. And that's why Jeff Bezos so infatuated with not just having Whole Foods to know what your diet like, but owning the Washington Post to know what type of information you get on the regular, to having Amazon and knowing when you get your stuff, and when how patient you is, and the type of shit you care about when it comes to your Prime account and what you watch. Like, they want this, nigga. They understand that if I can create movies for these niggas, I'm creating one big ass movie of a bigger world for myself. Did y'all hear what I just said? We create our own movies. They understand that if they able to look over your shoulder while you writing your script, and you can't even see their ass come over there and scratch something out and rewrite something with a movie they gave you or with some information they put in the media, they're changing your movie. And what it does is it helps them have a big ass movie of their own. Hope y'all picking up what I'm putting down, man. Oh, murder that. Like I said, I ain't go. I'm gonna read this last part. If we adopt the first agreement and become impeccable with our word, any emotional poison will eventually be cleaned from our mind and from our communication and our personal relationships, including with our pet dog or cat. Impeccability of the word will also give you immunity from anyone putting a negative spell on you. You will only receive a negative idea if your mind is fertile ground for that idea. My bad, I'm feeling like a preacher in this bitch. Fuck what they say. That's what I was saying earlier. People can do and say when I was, like I said, when I was first learning this shit, I was looking at everybody around me because I was one of them niggas that's like, oh, I gotta go in the bubble. I can't be around the wrong friends. I can't watch the wrong shit. I can't listen to the wrong music. But then I realized, hold up, it's niggas that do that and be preachers or be motivational speakers and you know what I'm saying, living a hell of a life when it comes to just positivity and abundance. And I'm like, how the fuck they do it? It's because when you become impeccable with your word, your mind is no longer fertile ground for words that come back from magic, and you will only receive a negative idea if your mind is fertile ground for that idea. Nah, it's almost like the nigga that eat healthy on a regular. So when the shit in the air that's making everybody sick is going straight past them. You know what I'm saying? Or it's going in them, but it's getting flushed straight out. See what I'm saying? Our minds work the same way. Be impeccable with your word. If anybody want to hit me, like I said, 419-572-6216. If I got time to goddamn hop on the call with a couple of y'all, I will. I know I got personal relationships with a few people in this channel. Like I said, I like when y'all reply to the little shit, so if y'all can reply so other people can get because I ain't gonna lie, that's what this shit about, man. I ain't trying to sell y'all shit. I ain't trying to get on here and preach and change mindsets for my benefit. I just want everybody on this motherfucker. Like, I want y'all to be able to give me perspective if y'all can, because it might be some shit I read 1,000 times and then you read it and you get a whole different understanding of it. So I want y'all to be able to each one teach one in this channel. And you know what I'm saying? Like, the power of our voice is everything. That's another thing this chapter talking about, is like our word is what helps each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why testimony is so important. That's why communication rule the nation, and the gift of our voice and us using it damn near is what we got over other species. You know what I'm saying? So don't hold that shit back. It took a lot for me to be able to finally do this type of shit, because if you know me in real life, you know I don't even get into this type of stuff, bro. Like, I ain't no preaching ass nigga. If it's a room full of people, I'm in a corner somewhere, ducked off by myself, not trying to really get attention. I do this one-on-one with all my people, and if it's 2-3 motherfuckers, I'm able to have these conversations. But I'm shy on the low, to say the least. So even if you got that type of personality and you ain't into all of the, you know what I'm saying, trying to be deep and be vocal when it comes to certain shit, give that shit a try, because at the end of the day, going back to what this chapter talk about, the more you put that type of shit out, the more it come to you. So if you withholding information, it's gonna be hard for you to continue to get information. If you withholding love or some type of energy that might benefit somebody in this channel, you can't expect it to come to you. I remember I was feeding less fortunate one day, and dude came up to me and he said, if you walk around like this holding all your blessings, a motherfucker can't come and give you another one, because it's gonna fall straight off every time, because you too busy holding on to yours. But if you walk around like this, a motherfucker could come and not only give you blessings, but they could come and get one for themselves. See what I'm saying? So don't hold back on the information that y'all got, man. Don't hold back on the perspective that y'all got. Feel free to communicate and be vocal in this channel. This shit family, bro. Like, and I feel like the more we do it, the more it's gonna become a normal thing for all of us. And I know we get caught up in all this bitch ass 2026 shit when it comes to, like, they fucked us up with that 6 feet away shit with COVID. I ain't gonna lie. Like, we act like we can't be close with each other no more. And I ain't trying to be y'all motherfuckers friends, but at the end of the day, we need each other, bro. God ain't put us down here just so we could do it alone. You know what I'm saying? And don't nobody figure this shit out by themselves. So let's get on here. Let's engage. Like I said, even if it's just y'all engaging with me and hitting me up, don't just watch the video. And if you don't understand nothing that I said, please feel free to tap in and let me know so I could give a little bit more perspective, because I kept a lot of this shit on the surface just because, like I said, it was 22 pages and I ain't want to go page by page, and this shit would have been longer than 35 minutes. It would damn near been a couple hours, but no. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Granddad.